Awesome. Well, it is time for your Smart Money Minute, sponsored by our friends at Forum Credit Union. Our resident financial expert, Andy Mattingly, is back to share some helpful and, I might say, free money tips for you today. Andy, always good to see you, my friend.
Good to be here.
Looking sharp? Loving the blazer?
I think we look good together today.
You know, we didn't even plan it, did we?
I know.
It just happens this way. So today we're talking about budgets and some ways to control our spending without using one. This is a really interesting conversation. So let's just dive right in. All right, we all know budgeting is important, but why should we consider not using one?
Well, you know, a lot of times what happens is you say, I'm going to do a budget. So you do some search and you see what kind of budgets are out there and you're like, well, okay, maybe I can do this one. And then you start inputting the information and you just become overwhelmed. And you're like, I can't do this. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to walk away from it. And, you know, it's like, if you're in that mode, don't just walk away. You still have a problem, so let's find some ways to maybe you can fix it.
It can be really intimidating once you dive in. You can just get really, really lost. If we don't use a traditional budget, Andy, what are some other ways to manage our spending?
So one good way to do is just count the number of transactions. So let's say you're like, you know what, I need to do just 15 transactions a week.
Okay.
So you only have 15 transactions a week against your account. So that means if you have your car payment that comes out, that counts, you know, and gas and all of that. So you get to 15 transactions and you just stop. And people are like, well, how hard is that? Well, I mean, you can pull up your mobile and see how many transactions you've done. So that's a good way to control your spending. And you have to make some tough choices, because if you're down to one transaction left and it's food or gas, what are you going to do?
I know.
You know, but that's a good way to kind of budget and kind of control your spending.
Okay, so limiting the number of transactions. You've also got here a separate spending account, a prepaid debit card. Let's talk about that.
So another way is people are like, I don't even want to count transactions. So what you can do is say, okay, I have one account that all of my loans and utilities and things come out of, but my true discretionary spending, gas, food, eating out and all of that, you put in another account and you put a certain amount of money in there. So you're budgeting in just that I'm going to put $200 a week in for all of this stuff. And you spend until it's gone.
Okay.
And now you could use a prepaid debit card or have a separate checking account and you're using your debit card for that. But when it gets to zero, you need to stop and not go overdraft and get a fee.
I know.
But, you know, stop at zero.
Okay. What's this envelope system that you
Now,
got
this
here?
is another one that's very popular. It's a little harder to do now, but the idea is that you have all your bills. Every month you take your paycheck and you get cash. You put cash in an envelope and you take the envelope with you when you go to buy groceries, when you pay gas. When the envelope's empty, you're done with whatever that is.
There it is.
Now, that's a little more difficult to do and in today's world, but it is a thing that you can do, or you can maybe create something like that.
I think that'd be helpful, too, to give to a young adult who just thinks digital money is just invisible.
Exactly.
No, it's actually tangible, too. So, Andy, I got to ask, what are some other ways to curb our spending without going to a budget?
Well, you know, it's like we've talked about some of those things that you can do, this transaction account and all of that. But it's really just looking at saying, what do I need to control? That's one of the big things. So maybe it's, you know, you're just saying, I'm only going to get this many visits to my gourmet coffee. I'm going to do 10 a month. So you can do that. Or you can say, you know what, when I'm going to the grocery store, I am only going to buy, you know, things that are on sale. You know, so I'm going to budget that way. So there's a lot of different ways you can manipulate budgeting to get to what you want to do.
That's great, helpful advice. Andy, if people want more information, if they want to get involved with Forum, where should they go?
Well, they should definitely come to forumcu.com, you know, visit one of our branches. You can follow us on Twitter. Look at YouTube. We have a lot of different ideas out there. Instagram, we're always trying to put information out there in any way that people want it.
Love it. How about same time, same place next week?
Sounds good.
Awesome. Andy, thanks as always. Hey, coming up, Jillian will tell us